My name's Leroy Chapman, and this is Public Secrets. Hello? You're doing it wrong. Today we're going to hop in my van, and we're going to explore the hidden and neglected histories of Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, we're here in front of the historic Cain's Ballroom in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The last remaining venue still in operation from the 1978 U.S. Sex Pistols tour with David Blue, who had a band at the time called Bliss. They were the opening act for the Sex Pistols show here in Tulsa. We're inside the offices of the Cain's Ballroom. Up above us here is a piece of drywall from the original Cain's Ballroom green room. And the hole that you see there allegedly is a hole that Sid Vicious put there.
Well, they definitely left more than just a couple of iconic memories here. It was a strange night to begin with. There was a lot of snow, there was a lot of protesters. Everybody had a preconceived notion of what the Pistols were all about. Our music, our original music was more in the lines of like Kansas progressive rock. We didn't get it. I mean, plain and simple. I mean, we heard all kinds of wild stories about debauchery with raw meat on stage, and I mean, just all kinds of crazy stuff. But that's what rock and roll is. I mean, it's hype. And the crowd was definitely not there for us. You kind of hear a few cat calls out there. This isn't punk. Larry Schaefer, he was our manager for about 5 years.
Bliss was a band that I really liked. I liked their sound. Somehow in the back of my head, I thought they could make it. For that reason, I put them on the show. Were they compatible with that music? No. But Dana was a hot guitar player. David Blue was a good drummer and a good guy, and I supported those who I liked and who liked me, so I gave them that opening slot.
Next to last closing tune that we did was the William Tell Overture. We had the crowd for about 3 minutes, and then they were ready for us to go.
The guy we're meeting, he's got some unpublished photographs of the show. The Cain's is known for Western swing, but not for like the post rock and roll punk era.
By '75, I had seen that the Cain's Ballroom was doing some pretty cool shows, mostly stuff out of Austin, Texas. Ray Wiley Hubbard, David Allen Coe, Jerry Jeff Walker, Michael Martin Murphy. That piqued my interest, and I ended up making an offer and buying it for $60,000.
The first tiers of all these bands' tours, the Ramones, the Sex Pistols, Patti Smith, they all came through Tulsa and played there at the Cain's. The same family for over 20 years has ran this little enterprise here. It's the best flea market in Tulsa for sure. I don't know if you guys need any knives or not, but there's a variety here. Hey, Tom. How's it going?
Leroy. How you doing, man? Good.
Tom sells records, rare records here at the flea market every weekend.
A little bit of photos here from the history of Tulsa's concerts. Here's stuff I kind of put together for the show. Actually, my ticket still from the show.
The tickets were originally going to be, I think, $2.50, but the band was quickly burning up their money on the road and needed more money from me. I said yes, so I took my Sharpie on that day, and that's me changing that's where I changed the 2 to a 3, like when I used to change my D's to a B when I was in grade school.
As we were coming up on the sidewalk, they were handing out leaflets and pamphlets urging us not to go in, that we were going to burn in hell seeing this show.
There were a lot of undercover police thinking that some crime was going to be committed, by those nasty Sex Pistols. Well, there was no sex about them.
Right.
Just a bunch of rowdy young Englishmen on quite a bit of beer, okay?
When they first came on stage, the power that came off the stage was unreal. On Wednesday nights, when I guess it was the typical night for the country crowd to be at the Cain's, and they were actually lining the sides of the ballroom, sitting up in their chairs like they normally would. But when the Pistols came on, I looked over to see the looks on the people's faces, and it was just jaw-dropping, and they abruptly got up and left.
All right, so we're leaving the fairgrounds here, and we're going to head over to my buddy Greg Sewell's house. Back in the day, his mom owned a bar over on North Sheridan, and he kind of turned it into a punk bar called the Crystal Pistol. So I have some goals for the Dodge Lodge this year, 2012, the new year. I have 3 matching tires, and by the end of the year, I'm going to have a 4th to bring me up to a whole new level. By the way, the Tulsa World published a review of that show. And at the very end of it, he says something like, "So they were all hype and definitely not a trend-setting act."
They could do it. They were raw, and you know, everyone that comes along influences the next one somehow. And these guys did their share of influencing on what music we have today, I'm sure.
I think we're about to make another illegal move. All right, we're here at the Casa de Sewell, Greg Sewell's house. Trick or treat. Hey, Greg, how's it going?
Okay, how you doing?
I had a little 110 Instamatic, and of course I had to do these covertly because they had a policy of no cameras. So I had to snap them off when the bouncers weren't looking.
Oh, that's a good one there. That's Johnny with his pirate snarl.
Sex Pistols, punk rock, you know, they can't play. Well, Sid couldn't play. Just about every song, Steve stopped and went over to Sid and told him what key they were in. And he was just dumbing away. You know. I don't know if he was junked out at this show. He was coherent, you know, and he still didn't know how to play. You know, when it came on, Johnny said, "All you rednecks coming to see the circus." And it was the circus. After it was over, I kept saying to myself, well, now what's next? What more can they do? It was kind of prophetic. One more show and then we broke up.
The band was tight, and that was probably the last time if you were there, that the Sex Pistols really performed. Richard Galbraith in Enid, Oklahoma. These were some of the photos that he shot that day. You're at these shows, you enjoy them, the music's good, but you really don't often realize you're making any history, okay?
Right.
That included. They were just the bad boys of rock and roll, and I happened to be playing them that night at Cain's Ballroom, and the next day it was back to work as usual.
To actually meet the guys and be around them, they weren't what they were made out to be until cameras rolled. And then the persona of who the Pistols were, I mean, it really came out. But they were really nice guys. And they were fascinated by the Cain's Ballroom. I mean, they spent most of their time after sound check just walking around and looking at the pictures of all the iconic, you know, country makers, and put on a hell of a show. The people that were here watching it, as much as they wanted to be punks, they were a bunch of middle-class Tulsa kids. They had no idea what it was about, and I don't know that they really got into it either. But they were part of an iconic show that's part of rock and roll history.
Just spreading the good vibes, man.